And we're here with our Pagan book section, and this is going to be our first one with Lisa and Anton Stewart, who wrote Simply
Wicca.
Wicca.
Simply
I
Wicca.
want I want to say Simply Living for that moment, but Simply Living, it can be Simply Wicca,
Yep.
and it's a very approachable book. It's a very that, but we're going to talk to the authors. Hi, Lisa. Hi, Anton.
How are you?
Hey
Can
Ed,
you
how
tell
are
us a little bit how you got before you actually wrote the book? How did you get into needing to write a Wicca book or wanting to?
Oh gosh, I'm going to
Okay.
defer to you for that.
I came to the path in 1989,
Mm-hmm.
and then I became a third degree in 2004, and then in 2008 hived off to have our own coven, and we had our own tradition. That's kind of an amalgam of high magic, druidry, and craft of the wise, Wicca. And
Mm-hmm.
most people who come up through the Gardnerian tradition do have kind of those three energies together. But I think what we noticed is there wasn't many teaching tools that would give that kind of structure or history or understanding of how to build a relationship with deity. People were just like, oh, well, I want prosperity, so I'll work with Lakshmi today. But who do you have a relationship with? That's the goddess that's going to help you. Um,
Mm-hmm.
so we wanted to call this book Coming Home to the Craft of the Wise. But Llewellyn wanted to call it simply Wicca, and you know, you have to defer to the publisher.
As you do, as you do.
Um, well, I think Simply Wicca is much easier to come off the tongue. Coming home to the craft is as a subtitle. I mean, I can understand that, and I like simplicity. So tell us a little bit. So you garden areas where you came from.
Gardnerian Alexandrian. Gardnerian.
Really?
Yep. And
Okay.
there was a group in the Midwest called the Bell Book and Candle
Oh yeah.
that supposedly we are
Sort of, yeah.
come from.
Somebody's dog jumped a fence somewhere. We
But
don't like model pedigree puppy
but
papers.
since 2008, we've had our own tradition called the Stewart tradition. And
And
we
um, and a lot of people, do you feel that that you moved away from that sort of idea of because in Gardnerian, I'm a Gardnerian myself from the Temple of Sacred Stones, down a coal line, and a lot of our stuff was not allowed to be talked about. I mean, there was always the big thing was that you were not supposed to talk about these things. And believe it or not, I haven't as biggest part with Gardnerian. So you went on and created your own tradition, which is kind of where, and I've joined other traditions. So I understand that there's a lot of secrecy. So, or that people feel that there's a need for secrecy.
well,
I
I
think, can you speak to that?
well, I believe that you need a foundation that
Hmm.
people would earn their way into, right? So
Hmm.
we're in a really interesting position. We have a coven, we have a court, and then we have a church public circle. So we meet publicly a couple times a month,
At least,
and
yeah.
then
Hmm.
we also have a court, and then we have a coven. But in the old days, you just had to bring people into your coven and hope for the best. So we are quite guarded about coven work,
Hmm.
but this gives people who even want to be a solitary a structure, a foundation, an understanding of the wheel of the year and how to layer the cycles of the moon on that, how to choose a pantheon, um, and just learn some of the vocabulary that maybe they wouldn't if they didn't have witch parents.
If I can chime in for 2 seconds, Ed, the one thing I
You
would
chime as many times as you want.
No, secrecy is that thing that a lot of people do immediately sort of instinctively reel backwards from there. Oh, why are you withholding the secrets from us? Why can't we know the secrets? Why can't we know everything? Why can't we know everything? And the way we try and explain this is it would be awful difficult to do calculus if you didn't have the ability to count to 10.
Hmm.
You at least need to know the basics. And what a lot of people don't realize is that the craft of the wise is, I mean, there's a reason it's called a craft. It's because it takes you time to perfect that. Nobody is born a craftsperson, a craftsman, a craftswoman, You're not an expert at your craft until you've actually worked at it. And that requires patience and learning and developing a skill set.
An experience,
Yeah,
personal experience.
and there's a lot of people come up and sort of want to bang on the door, that has no key and demand entry and demand, tell me all the secrets, tell me all the secrets. Well, in the words of an extraordinarily wise high priestess we know, they don't know what they don't know, and you can't tell them. And there's a reason for that. It's because people honestly don't know what they don't know. I don't know what I don't know. Who does? But to assume that you know so much and that there's nothing you can learn and you can get absolutely everything you want off a 30-second video on TikTok is not how it
It
works,
scares
frankly.
me, really. We had this spate of, we're in a college town, so we had this spate of young college girls coming in looking for carnelian.
Hmm.
After like four or five of them, we said, "What's going on?" "Oh, well, so and so, the TikTok witch says this is the attraction stone and I can get a partner." And we were like, "Well, yeah, but it's also the pregnancy stone, so I
Hmm.
think they might have left out some details."
Nothing important.
Well, well, I think that. So I always tell people. You mentioned locked doors. I tell people I'm not a gatekeeper. I'm a key holder, and there's a difference.
Right.
Um, I only, and there is reasons to that, but your book is out on the shelves, and they go into a Barnes and Noble, they go into Books a Million, they get it on Amazon, they pass it by. There are a lot of early books. Why should yours be chosen? What does it offer to someone who, let's just say, has never picked up Wicca, has an interest?
I'll go first if you don't
Okay.
mind. I'll be brutal about it. It doesn't suck.
Hmm.
It really doesn't suck. I mean, it is titled simply Wicca, but the nature of the book, I think, is very much a reflection of Lisa and I. We're nothing more than hokey tour guides, but we've been guiding the tour for a little while now,
30 years.
and and as such, we've walked into the low hanging branches. We've twisted ankles in the potholes. So it's part like imparting our experience, but by the same token, it's also saying, look, this isn't a book for everyone. I mean, if you just get into the preface of the book, and it says, if you're here for this reason or that reason or that reason, please put this book back on the shelf. It's not for you. It's not for you. But if you're prepared to embark on that perilous journey into self, because this is a voyage of self-discovery, the mysteries can't be taught; they can only be experienced. And your experience, my experience, Lisa's experience, everybody's experience is going to be completely different.
I want to answer.
Please,
I
please,
want to,
fire.
Please.
okay, I want to answer and say that there are a ton of books out there on the Wheel of the Year, and they tell you what the holy days are, and they tell you how to have a feast for that day,
Oh, sure. There's a whole series of them.
right?
Yeah.
So our book will tell you the name Ostara comes from estrogen, and that the
Well,
sun had risen
Yosta.
enough, Eostra, estrogen, that the sun had risen enough that birds started to lay eggs again. And we talk about the sun coming over has risen over the equal day and night, so he has risen. We compare the symbol for Aries, not just to the ram's horns for 0 degrees Aries, but to the ovaries, because again, that Eostra, estrogen, Ostara. So there's background and things that people could really get thinking about to connect them to that time of year, right? We want people to understand the magic of nature, but also
Hmm.
the nature of magic.
Now you had a,
Go on,
I'm sorry.
please. No, please.
You had another title for this book that kind of you think defines it a little better. Can you
Mhm.
tell us about that?
Anytime somebody really starts practicing the craft
Hmm.
with us, they always say, "I feel like I'm remembering things. I feel like this is a homecoming." And that's what
Hmm.
we have, a year and a day course that's called Coming Home to the Craft of the Wise. And we take about 10 or 15 people at a time, and they're there for a year.
Okay, that's it. Coming home to the craft. So they're reading this. They've been had warned. They're supposed to work with this. What is the benefit to the reader to have actually read this? They complete the reading. They've read it. They what is the value that you're hoping that they gain from it?
That they figure out who their pantheon is, that
Hmm.
they find a way to do a dedication to that pantheon, and that they start to work in the structure, not just willy nilly. There's astrology in here, so they understand, oh, it's a full moon, but it's a Cancer full moon. So what does that add to this, right? Um, I think it gives them really good tools for their toolbox.
It's a primer. I mean, to be honest, it's only a 50,000 word book, and you can't get the subject of the craft of the wise in 50,000 words. You just can't do it. But by the same token, I think this gives a clear understanding of like there are multiple energies at play, and to be cognizant of them and to be cognizant of the world in which you are part of that infinite dance of moon and sun in constant chase. You know, you're part of the universe singing in praise of itself. You're not separate from it. You're
You're a
not
thread on this
disparate.
blanket, you know?
And to accept your place and recognize that, and hopefully it whets people's appetite to want to learn more, which I think is the thing. But it does say it's not for the faint-hearted, because it is a very perilous journey. It is a very, the journey into self, a lot of people don't do. I mean, we have yet, and we've done this course for
10 goes.
10 times round now, I think, whatever. We've yet to have everybody who starts finish the course.
It's usually about
It's
50%.
like, it's not for everybody. We totally accept that, people will face their dwellers, people will face their own inhibitions or deeply entrenched core tenets of a previous belief or whatever, and it's a tricky one. It is, because it can be quite jarring when you realize that not everything is exactly as you expected it to be. It's not as it appears, nor is it necessarily otherwise. But I think learning to just observe, even if you start just observing the shadows getting longer and shorter, or shorter and longer at the time of year that we're in, being cognizant of where the moon is above your head, what phase it's in,
How to
you
know by
know,
looking at it
how
what
to
phase
know
it's
by
in.
looking at it, whether it's waxing or waning. There's so many people come to us, and we just take stuff for granted. We take stuff for granted. We don't look. And I think one of the core fundamental things are there, as you well know, there are no strict rules within the craft of the wise. There's no laid down sort of dogma, so to speak. But the two things that we try to impart upon people is respect for all living things and responsibility for your own actions. And I think those two, if you have a problem with that, then you're going to have a problem with the craft of the wise.
Yeah, I could see that. I'm myself a stoic. Uh, that you can't always, this is where it sounds like your book would be helpful, because you can't always control what happens to you, but you
Absolutely
can't,
not.
but you can control how you react to it.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Um,
Perfectly put. Perfectly put. You know?
and, and it's- and it sounds like your book is putting into place, as you read it and study it, the reactions needed when things happen to you, so that you can react versus and act versus just simply retaliating or simply engaging your mind. So often we find ourselves not in control of our actions for various reasons. We can go into that all day long of why it happens. But one of the things they say, and it sounds like your book covers this, I you you never reach your best self in an emergency. You you reach your best training.
Right. You fall back on what you know. You
Yep.
don't rise to the occasion.
Yeah,
You
you
fall
fall back
back
on
on
your
what you know.
training.
So this
Yep.
is your foundation.
Okay, so this is what this purpose of this book is: give you a good foundation so that you can do it, and as you're starting to explore things. So, last set of questions. Do you have online resources for this book? Do you back it with
Absolutely.
online resources? Can you talk about that?
Absolutely. One of the things that we're working hard to do right now is to build a vibrant online community, and we've tried a number of different platforms for this. But I think the one that we've had the most, I think success is the wrong word, but certainly at the moment shows the most potential. I think is YouTube,
Hmm.
simply because we've got fairly recently into the idea of channel memberships.
Hmm.
I think we offer like there's three levels of channel membership. You can just be a member at Sweep Team, or you
So
can
it's like,
go to the Academy of the Occult at the
right.
top end of it.
So at $5 a month, you're part of the sweep team, and you get $5 back in what's called karma points, money to spend at the store. And then at the highest level, it's the Academy of the Occult, the Academy of the Occult. So you will get access to that level of membership where you get a guided meditation every month, new moons, full moons, and Sabbats, like cyber ritual, and some sort of workshop. Like right now, we're doing the moon through your natal chart. So I have the people who are in the academy, I have all of their natal charts, and we work through where the moon is, what house it's in, and the kind of aspects that's making. So they understand, like, what do they have in their recipe personally this month, not just what's going on for everyone.
Yeah,
Excellent.
we also do. Oh, I'm so sorry, Ed. We also
I was
do
going
a
to
week.
say, let me go ahead and
We
ask this, and then you finish this. Where do
go
you
for it.
find this book? Where do you find it?
The
Any
awareness shop.
anywhere good books are sold,
Yeah,
we hope.
it's on Amazon. It's
No,
obvious.
your resources, your
Oh, right.
resource,
Oh,
the YouTube.
the YouTube one's dead easy. So simple. It's YouTube at
Mm-hmm.
the @ awareness shop, all three S's together, and that'll take you to the channel.
And we do a
Um,
weekly
yep.
podcast that is called Witchy Wednesdays that has like
Mm-hmm.
three segments. The first segment is the astrology for the week. The second segment is some sort of teaching, like this coming tomorrow. I guess tomorrow's Wednesday.
Mm-hmm.
It is.
We're
Well,
going to
hopefully.
do the year of the fire horse, Chinese astrology, and how to cleanse and clear and get ready for the 1 year, because 2026 is a one, right? A 10-1. And then its third part is we do one card readings for the members or people who give super chat.
Yeah, and so it helps fund our church as well, which is great. We have a legal 501c3
Since 2008.
since 2008, called the Church of the Eternal Circle. We were a little miffed at New York initially because we had to use the name church in the
Or temple.
yeah, but I know it's since changed. It doesn't apply, but I mean, but we're known by that
But
name.
we really are the best kept secret. Nobody knows we're here.
Yeah.
That is true for the majority of the community, and this is why I've taken on this effort and asked for book authors. And we're doing in each of these weeks, and you too. If you want to join me, go give me a text at the Pagan everywhere, including Gmail. Um, I'm very fortunate. I got one. I was in early. I got one of those names.
Woohoo.
Uh, And I think that that is one of the more difficulty. So the last question is because you're doing the online stuff, you've got this great book. Show it to everybody so they can see it.
And
Simply
we
Wicca.
also
It's
have
got an asking.
a bricks and mortar store that we've had for 33 years as well in New Paltz, New York.
Oh, really? Where is that? New Paltz, New
New
York.
Paltz is
And is it?
about
Yeah.
80 miles north of the city
Mm-hmm.
and
Yep.
about 90 miles south of Albany, just right in the middle.
We're very, very, very privileged in so much as that at the back of our store we have that little annex which actually is the official church. Unfortunately, the fire marshal won't let us get more than like 20 something people in there when it's bad weather or in the winter. But we do have
My
a
pictures.
bigger outside space. I'll send you. I know this isn't necessarily goes out live, so let me fire you a few pictures of the space so you can drop it in as a
Yeah,
bit
we
of
can show you
B-roll and
the.
stuff like that later if you like. But we actually have
Mhm.
a circle outdoors where
We
we
can
do that.
accommodate 50 people outside.
And we do the usual sort of clergy thing for our community, hatches, matches, and dispatches kind of thing, so we'll
I
we'll
thought I
we'll
had a
do
picture
that.
of the shop
Yeah, it's not going to
handy, but
work
I
well
don't.
on a phone.
No.
Not
But anyway, I
really.
was going to say I could hold up a picture of the store, but
Yeah, but
it's a purple Victorian house that we've had since 97, but we've had our business since 93.
you know,
So it's not.
sorry.
Go ahead,
No, I was going
please.
to say we you all go through like these existential crises, don't you? You think, are we truly appreciated by our community? Because we'd love to see more people, but we know it's been a very difficult year. This last year has been, emotionally and traumatically difficult for an awful lot of people, and we know a lot of people are struggling to put food on the table, and we're dependent. Obviously, the store is dependent on disposable income, so we're not high on the list of things, but we have a very loyal customer base. We said we're now in our 33rd year of business at the awareness shop. But we have this wonderful luxury of having the sort of like people come to us. They may come via the store. They may get an interest in. They start talking to somebody at the store. They may come along to a couple of public circles. They may go, oh, this is lovely. I want to know more about this, and then they maybe buy the book, and then maybe they'll sign up for the Craft of the Wise course, and
Hmm.
then begins the journey. That is the route if you want to progress. Certainly within our tradition, we do insist that everybody complete that 1 year Craft of the Wise course, but it is available online. We do it as Zoom as well.
You can be
So
anywhere.
yeah, but we don't time shift it. It's not in the can. It's participatory, which you'll find is Wicca is something that is a it's participatory sport, if I can even
Okay.
get it out of my
Um,
mouth there, Ed.
we've
I'm
also
sorry.
been working for the last 10 years on our own tarot deck,
Hmm.
which is going to come out as soon as we can afford to get it printed because we're going to self-publish, where we've connected the minor arcana of the tarot to the Aubrey holes around Stonehenge.
The journey of the
So
moon,
we're
putting it
we're
bluntly. Yeah.
we have that deeper occult component to our craft. We're not just, spell working. There's a deep commitment that's been made to understanding and learning. And that's what we help our people to dig in. And, their ordeals are something amazing that we ask them to bring forward.
Yeah.
Terrific. Go
No,
ahead.
I just wanted to add to that. I think when you ask, what is the purpose of this book? I mean, what is our purpose? We ask ourselves,
To
what are we
serve the
here?
old gods.
We've given our lives over in commitment to serve the old gods. We've done that. There's no question about that. To preserve the path for long after we've shuffled off this mortal coil. But our aim, whenever we get a new witchling or whatever, or anybody who comes to us, is not just to give them a map and you go, here's your map, here's how you figure it out, here's how you read a map. We want to give you the ability to be able to make your own map,
Climb the tree and
to
figure out
climb the
which way
tree,
is
figure
east,
out where you are, orientate yourself or orient yourself. I'm sorry, I'm English, I speak funny. But yeah, to be able to orient yourself, to know where you are, to know what energies are available to you, to know there is no such thing as a catastrophe. You just simply have to adapt your magic to suit the available
recipe.
astronomical energies available,
So sorry, what were you going to ask, Ed? I'm
Sorry,
sorry.
Ed.
No, it's
Yeah.
okay. No problem. That's what we're here for. So it sounds like you're
Okay.
dealing with probably the number one problem. You made a statement that is absolutely not proving true in our community, and that is that Wiccans are finding themselves in community, or you have to be participatory. The vast majority of people, 90% of the people who call themselves Wiccan, are solitaires. They
Yep.
never join a group, they can't find them. And
Correct.
we have an epidemic of loneliness, not in just the United States and across the world.
Oh, absolutely, because of COVID. Our book came out the Friday
Oh
before.
no, this is you could say COVID, but we're past COVID. What is happening now?
People are still traumatized by that. They've been working from home, ordering their groceries online. There's no
Hmm.
sense of community. Um, but I do think that you can practice solitary, absolutely.
Yeah.
But you don't have anyone to ask advice from. You don't have
Mm.
if you're a solitary, you don't have an elder who's stepped in that pothole before or whacked their head on the low hanging branch, right? And we're very blessed to have access to craft elders like Janet Farrar and Gavin Bone and Kate West and people that we're friends with that we can ask questions of if we get in a space, you know, where we don't know how to handle something. So I think structure is important. But certainly, if the student and the teacher are the right kind of person, you could be a solitary.
Yeah, I love.
Well,
If you're familiar with Terry Pratchett, I think that's one of the wonderful quotes, isn't it? Well, I suppose it is possible to teach yourself witchcraft, but both the teacher and the student would have to be the right kind of person.
oh, absolutely. And I think we're entering into a time, and this is why I think it's important. That's why I appreciate you being on today, where we're entering into where there's going to be real questions. And what's going to happen is real values are going to come out. The pagan Wiccan community is about to face we think we've been striving all these years. I mean, I've been a First Amendment warrior for 35 years.
Right.
I mean, but the truth is, compared to what we faced before, I've been through satanic panic. We're going to need more resources like that you have, because not only are people joining in epic proportion, people are talking about 10 and 15 when we have 1,000, 1,500, 2,000 people joining, and in a moment. And
Hmm.
that's why TikTok witches do well. And I have nothing against them. I have against no, however anyone wants to teach, that's fine. And everybody finds their own students. And I want you to find some of your own students here with Simply Wicca, and also your shop awareness. What is it again?
The awareness shop.
It is the awareness shop. Okay.
Yeah,
Uh,
absolutely.
I was just making sure because that sounds so simple in my mind. I love simple. Uh, yeah, and that sort of thing. So, last thing, you can buy your book anywhere, but where should they be buying it from? Where
Well,
would
if
you
you,
like them to buy it from?
I would love them to buy it from us because if they buy it from us, we make $8 a book. If they buy it
Hmm.
anywhere else, we make $1 a book.
She gets 51 cents. I get 49.
Fair enough.
Right? So if they
Uh,
buy it from the awareness shop, then we make a little bit of money. If not, we get paid $1 a book, which is why before we published this book, we explained that we were doing a tarot deck that we wanted to self-publish or publish with US Games. But since Stuart Kaplan has
Sadly
passed
passed
away,
away. Yeah.
we don't have the same uh,
Connection,
connections there.
for want of a better word. Yeah.
well, and we're about to hit peak tarot. I mean, one of the things that's happening is we have a lot of tarot decks out there, self-published and everything.
Mm.
So I collect tarot decks. I'm a dealer in tarot decks, and
Oh, wow.
in that sense, and yeah, tarot's become as popular as anything. So yeah, a good new tarot deck that is tied into teachings is always a wonderful thing.
Right. So
Oh,
sorry.
go
We
ahead.
understand we understand that the major arcana is the story of the sun and that the minor arcana is the story of the moon. So the minor arcana links to the moon mansions. And we've done an awful lot of research and worked with an Arabic translator to understand how those mansions are actually depicted on the tarot.
Hmm.
One of the lunar mansions says a man seated on a bench inditing. That's the Eight of
Hmm.
Pentacles. That's the Eight of Pentacles. So,
Hmm.
and then we figured out the other 55.
It sounds like an extensive amount of work. We'll look forward to it, and I'd like to have you back for when it comes out because
10
we do.
years. It's 10 years, right? So the Arabic translator has been fantastic because he said, like, you see this word, if we translate it from ancient Arabic into modern Arabic, into Greek, into Latin, into English, we get farm. But what it
Mhm.
actually means is understanding how to harness nature for sustenance. Big difference in the
Oh.
depth of meaning.
Yeah, I mean, we too, again, if you learn a language by rote, it's your mother
Hmm.
tongue, so to speak, quite literally. You don't really think about the words. You don't think about what the words mean. I mean, I'll give you an example. Hello. Everybody says hello. If you've been raised English, if you haven't learned English as a second language, if it was your mother tongue, so to speak, we don't think about the word hello, but it simply means I wish you light. The hell. the the whole Nordic Scandinavian light connotation there. It's
But
all there.
honestly, I'm not trying to make this an advertisement, but we really are the best
No, no,
kept
no, it's
secret.
fine.
Our Welsh Celtic pantheon, we follow a Welsh Celtic pantheon, and we are act druids in the Anglesey Druid Order from Wales. We lived in Mid Wales for 10 years. So our Welsh Celtic pantheon wasn't represented. So we created Cadwyn and Gwyn ap Neith and Blodeuaeth, Blodeuwedd, and Rhiannon with the Mari. And there was a local sculptor who lived in New Paltz who used to do Wonder Woman and Marvel Comics, who's crafted all of our statuary for us. So
Off
it's
the chart
trying to
talented. Yeah.
provide tools, right? You can come in and you can get your first athame. You can get a chalice made by a Wiccan potter that's been
Hmm.
making our chalices for like 25 years. So for us, it's serving the old gods, providing real tools that aren't just mashed out in China, right? We make a lot
Hmm.
of our own things and just try to help people understand, right? That what you are seeking is causing you to seek. What do you want to know and how can we help you find where to find that?
Mm.
And a lot of that's in here.
And as Doreen
So
said, it's that which you seek, you find not within yourself. You'll never find it without.
there you
You want
go.
to,
So these are some basic premises. Go ahead.
if you want to hear something amazing, find Circle in a Box. It's a recorded ritual.
Yeah, we did that. She doesn't suck as a singer. A subtle plug there as well. We're
So,
both a pair of crusty
so
musicians,
you
so
could play that if you are a solitary. You could play Circle in a Box, and then there's a
Hmm.
9 minute section, a 9 minute section where you could do magic, and then it does all the releasing. So you could be a solitary and have that structure, and that you don't have to remember, oh, what comes next, and how do I do that?
whilst this book is written from a viewpoint, our viewpoint of a structured initiatory tradition, we do actually draw the parallels and say if you're working solitary, then this is how you do it, or this is how you could
Hmm.
do it.
Hmm.
We don't tell this is the absolute right way. We're not that arrogant, for goodness sakes.
I mean,
Hmm.
I also, at this point, I worry about young people who are being duped by the creepy people, or young people who don't understand and they make big mistakes, and it's quite traumatizing, right? So I do worry about this generation more so than I worried about the people in their 40s or 30s, the people who are in their 20s now and teens. I'm very concerned for them finding the truth.
Or certainly not a contorted perspective on something.
Hmm.
I mean, one of the things I know this sounds old school, if you like. We are old school Wicca, and ethics for us are vitally important. We'll bang it home. We bang it home in the book, and we'll bang home. We'll get up on our soapbox and we'll bang home ethics the whole time. Oh, I want to make an effigy of my errant boyfriend, and I'm going to
Stick
stick
pins in
pins
his
in his
eye.
eyes. Well, fine. Would you go do that to him personally? Because that's the same gig. You're taking on that responsibility of doing
Hmm.
harm to others. Do you want to do that? Do you really want to do that? And are you prepared to accept the consequences if you are going to do that? Because
Or
whilst you're
just not
free,
understanding, like
yeah,
saying like, "Oh, I don't believe in that." Well, it's kind of like gravity and
yeah,
air,
don't really
you
believe in
know?
gravity,
If
drop
you're
the
living
cup.
in that negative, horrible negative space, that's what's going to surround you.
Yeah, that with which you associate associates with you.
Hmm. There
Anyway,
you
I just
go.
I
There
do
you go.
worry. I worry that AI is going to give the wrong or erroneous information. I remember a while back you put out a little sentence that AI did for astrology, and you said, "My astrologer friends, is this right?" And I had said to you, "Well, that is what Leo means, and that is what that planet means, but that planet's nowhere near Leo right now, so it's not an accurate horoscope."
Okay. Um, that's a whole nother discussion, and one
Oh
that
yeah.
the
Oh yeah,
community
How
has.
long you got?
But Simply Wicca,
Wicca.
you can pick it up anywhere, but you can also pick it up. What's the URL?
At the awareness shop. At the awareness shop.
Awareness.com.
Yeah. Well, yeah. You could do that,
Or
or
you go
you
to
can go to,
simplywicca.com.
or you could
Simplywicca.com.
or you could go to awareness.shop.
Okay,
So
there you go. So you have your multiple entries, and you have your YouTube channel, and you have all of these connections. So it's not just a book, but it is a process and a structure behind it.
Yes.
And if you're looking for that, you should go ahead and take a Simply Wicca, and don't be faint of heart. But then my audience is far from faint of heart.
ideal,
Cool.
ideal.
So thank you for coming.
Thank you for the
Blessings.
opportunity.
And
Thank you.
this is the end of the first edition of Pagan Book. There will be more to come. We're lining up the authors so we can tell you what you should be buying for your library. And today it is Simply Wicca. Gives yourself a foundation that you can have for yourself and share with your friends and family. Blessed be, folks.
Blessed be.
Blessed